Hey, hi everybody. How's it going? It's well, I don't know, it's not that. I was gonna say it's late. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. That's late around these parts, I suppose. I am hanging out and I am messing around with some more stream and capture stuff, and I've made some changes. Well, so I got the PC hooked back, the other PC hooked back up to the capture gear for like dual PC streaming stuff, and I want to mess with that a little bit. It's annoying. I have all the pass-through stuff hooked up so I can look at what's being sent through the capture card on the monitor in front of me, but for whatever reason I can't lock in the PC settings I need that will work all the way through all that gear and display on this monitor. Like the Mister will display just fine. The PC, like the desktop, will display, but then when I start playing games, it'll just say like timing out of range or whatever. I don't know if it's like a VRR thing or what, but there's there's basically something preventing that from working, and so I'm gonna live with that for now. That's not something I'm necessarily like looking to spend a bunch of time fixing, because the eventual goal is to just have whatever screen, like this TV behind me, once I'm kind of set up the way I want to be set up, that TV or whatever TV is hooked up should be in my sight line anyway, so I shouldn't need to turn as far to see it or whatever. And that'll totally solve that problem at that point. And then I won't need this weird, kind of dual. I won't need to pass out to the TV and to another screen, because the TV will be in my field of view anyway, so who cares? And and so that'll just be like a kind of a done deal. But it is frustrating because it's like I had it all working, replaced an HDMI cable, and I was like, oh, great, this is totally gonna work. And then I started loading up games, and it was like the games would either just like totally run, like they were hitching up and stopping, and like just crazy weird stuff. And then and then this monitor wasn't working either, and so it was just like weird stuff. It's a weird thing. At the end of the day, all of this is a weird thing, and that's kind of I don't know, the frustrating part about it. But it does, like I can still kind of look over here. I can't. I mean, the only real hassle here is that I can't really easily see chat, but I can bring that up, I guess, in a separate window and move it as far to the left as I can here, so that I can at least like sort of glance over. But yeah, so now this is all, running on a different machine, which means, theoretically, we should really be able to enjoy our test game. Our test game. Our very important test case. The thing I will want to know from you is if the game is too loud, because right now I have the capture card audio turned all the way up. So I'm going to guess it is definitely too loud, and we'll have to dial that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, with the way this is set up is like, now I can, when I'm doing console games or when I'm doing, the Mister or whatever, that at least works with this monitor here. So it's really just PC stuff that is funky right now. And that'll be okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how this runs. So this is a backwards setup in a lot of ways, because the PC I'm now playing games on is technically less powerful than the one I'm using to stream, which is not how you're supposed to do it. But I don't give a shit. The other thing is, so what I've done here is I've locked this to 60 frames a second. I've turned off HDR because, you know, if I'm only playing games on this when I'm streaming, then I don't want HDR. It doesn't need to go above 60. And yeah, that's the, you know, the basic idea. This machine should be able to do that in the vast majority of games. You know, it is still a 4090, right? It's got to count for something. Yeah, I mean, this all looks, I mean, you know, hey, as expected, right? It's not, you know, like there's no, if this didn't work, if we set this up and it was still the same problem, then I would fucking pack it in, man. Maybe we'll go just do I got some quests here, I guess. Greg's Reversed Fate Synthetic Fiber. Yeah, we need that. We need to complete the White Knight Gulch Upper Hatchery Operation. Of course we do. White Knight Gulch Upper Hatchery Operation. Let's go there. Yeah, you can't play without Greg's Reversed Fate. That's a good point. I already have one. That's a gun, by the way. But you need to get guns and feed the guns to other guns in order to get the guns to be higher level guns. And so you need 5 of each gun to feed to the guns, so you can have maximum gun. And this looks okay, and the latency here, you know, like, I don't know, I like playing with a TV all up in my face, and so being far away from the screen like this, especially if I'm playing, like, a competitive shooter, like, this sucks for headshots and lining up stuff, because it's just far enough away. Honestly, this would be a really good time to put my fucking glasses on. So why don't I try that? I don't wear these glasses very often, though, so it's like it takes a while to acclimatize myself to it, and then, you know, then I don't wear them for a long time afterwards. And but it's, you know, so like now, you know, chat over here is a little bit blurry, but the TV looks a lot better, which is just frustrating. Also, because I'm sitting at a weird angle, everything on the TV is like a little bit warped, because glasses do that to you, apparently. Eliminate the enemies in the surveillance zone. You know, if you remember last night, we got that out of combat shield, you know, recovery boost, and it's really paying off here. shooting my dog. Alright, is that the... No, the poison injector. I need to eliminate more Vulgus, as you see at the top of the screen. More Vulgus must be eliminated. Now I can do half damage to this thing, and then we must kill another wave of enemies before we are permitted to finish the task. It's fun that way. You know? Sorry, did I say fun? I meant fucking mind-numbingly repetitive. We did it. What's going to be the next room? Is it going to be another one of those things and 2 more waves of guys? I bet that's exactly what we'll find. Is it going to... Yep. I hope you guys like fun.
I'm loading.
Fun is all I know. So, you know, we're not necessarily getting a locked 60 here. And, you know, this is all... It does allow for variable refresh rate. I've got to figure out, like, you know, just kind of dial in some settings on this, because you will occasionally see some tearing.
I'm loading.
Depending on the... Well, I mean, obviously you can turn on VSync. I thought the whole thing with G-Sync is that you were supposed to leave VSync off, and then the VRR is supposed to handle it. Well, maybe it's still bad if you're going below 60. I think it's one of those things I got to read up on again. So I feel like the logic on it has maybe changed a couple of times over the years. So when you go read up on it, it's like you'll find really old things recommending one way, and then a much newer post going, actually, that's fucking wrong now. You're like, okay.
Loading.
I got a toxic singularity reactor. Very exciting. Okay, now we can go over here, hit that. And, now we get to do another. Oh wait, it's open all the way. I get to just kill it. That's very that's mighty neighborly of them to be like, hey, we know we made you do it in 2 waves last time. You might think we're really fucking you over here by making you do it in 2 waves, but no, it's just 1 this time. Oh, thank you. There's some more.
I'm loading. Loading. I'm loading.
I mean, honestly, I should be using this gun more. I should be using my Greg's reversed fate more often because, you know, I need to maximize my affinity with it so that I can level it up. It's like, and then reset it so I can bring the numbers up again. But it'll be slightly more powerful next time because, that's just how it works. I mean, obviously. Raw, he says. His brother, he means it. Oh, there's still one over here. Interact with the target, it says. Helpful silhouette so you know, oh, this is how I interact with the target. Big ice for you. Maximum ice. Elite abomination. It says. Move to the operation zone. I'm ready to operate. We must go down here and operate. Oh, that's not the operation zone. I've got to move to the operation zone. Pardon me. I'm such a fool. Oh, okay. I guess we moved to the operation zone. Complete the Hagios Vulgus blockade operation. So that's, Hagios is one of these areas, right? Yeah, that's that. There's this Vulgus blockade. This looks like it's running nice. I don't know. I mean, you know, certainly nicer than it was. Certainly nicer than it was last night. I'll duck the capture card down a little bit here, and we'll try it down there. Tearing. Are you? Yeah, tearing. See all that tearing? I see it on the OBS window, so I assume you are seeing said tearing. Yeah. So the weird thing is, it will not let me turn on VSync, and I don't know what setting I have set that it is not letting me do this. Also, I need to double check something. I discovered this earlier today when I was fucking around. There's a physics toggle down here, and the highest setting is cinematic, and I'm wondering if that is their secret code for boobs. I think it is. I think it totally is. I think it absolutely is. DLSS can disable VSync. Yeah, that might. Yeah, that may very well be what the specific issue is. I might force VSync. I might just force VSync. I'm forcing a maximum frame rate of like 60 to keep anything from going higher than that. But the other thing I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to format this whole machine and start over. Because this machine has had a zillion different monitors hooked up to it. There's different things. Like it has, it's got a lot of cruft that I might just clean up because I just don't need it anymore. Eliminate the enemies in the surveillance zone. Okay.
I'm loading.
If you're using G-Sync, you should be forcing V-Sync in the control panel. Is that... See, that's... I feel... Again, I have heard that, and then I have also heard 3 other things that you should definitely do with V-Sync and G-Sync, settings. And so, like I said, that sound... Like, that makes sense to me in a weird way. But then you'll find things that actually what you should be doing now is it should have it off completely because, G-Sync will take care of it. But, I mean, the fact remains that we are seeing some pretty funky tearing here. And we can't have that. That's not good. Oh, you're all the way over there, huh? Okay. I don't have any more bullets for that guy. Dog, do something useful. Get me some ammo. So yeah, when we're done with this mission, maybe I will quit out, go force some V-Sync. And then check it out a little more. And then maybe do something else other than play this fucking game. Jesus Christ. I also kind of have to be on the lookout in case my wife needs to bring the baby down. The stream may end abruptly if that's the case. Yeah, this tearing is nasty. The last zone was not like this. The last zone was not like this, but this is miserable.
Break my shield.
Okay. Oh no. Ah. All right. A child has messed with this mouse. And the sensitivity has been turned way up. Okay. Vertical sync. I guess on. What is fast? Unconstrained, but does not tear since frames in excess of the frame refresh rate are being dropped. Delivers latency that's close to V. I mean, that sounds better. Fast sounds better than on, given what they've written here. Max 60 is the display only. So the TV will do 120, but because I am only using this for capture, and capture runs at 60, I don't really have a need to go above 60. So if you're turning low latency on here in the drivers, then you shouldn't turn on reflex in the game. Why wouldn't it just... That seems like something that would just, like, the setting in the game would not do anything anymore. All right. Good to know. Low latency set to ultra with VSync forced on for most games. Yeah, so I have it set to on now, which is like ultra just means on plus boost, right? I don't even know why they don't use the same language that the games use. I would assume that Nvidia kind of dictates that language overall. But also one of the reasons I limited it down to 60 is because I was trying to feed it through to this pass-through monitor, and that didn't work anyway. So I may, you know, after I format everything, I may just leave it at 120 because, you know, kind of who cares? Like the capture will come in fine. And reflex is different from low latency mode. Weird. Why? Why though? You guys want to enter my skin contest? Why not just play Defiance again? Because I looked at the website for the rebooted, re-emerged Defiance, and it's like its own separate thing, and they're like, we'd love to bring it to Steam someday. And I was like, yeah, maybe if you do, I'll check it out. But until then, I don't know that I want to give these people my fucking email address. And now I can't turn this off. And I also can't turn off frame generation. I don't know why some of this stuff got locked. But it was like that earlier. And I was not able to turn off frame generation, which struck me as very odd. Very odd. Anyway, this still feels okay, even with all that fucking bullshit turned on. Is there a custom option for DLSS? Let me check. I don't think so. I mean, I can go DLAA, but that doesn't, you know. And I can just turn it all off, but even that doesn't re-enable this stuff, which I found strange. Weird. Maybe it's because I have the physics set to cinematic. Well, I mean, we might as well get the fourth part of this gun, and then I can go to make the research lady start on the gun. Hagios ransacked village operation. Sure. That's here. And that's, here. It's hot in this room. It's almost like there are 2 computers turned on and 4 screens. Still seeing that tearing. Now I wonder, is that... Correct me if I'm wrong. But do I need to set it above 60 because G-Sync does most of its work above 60 and will tear below 60? Like below, below refresh? Weird. Let's try, I mean, I do have it set to unlimited here because since I figured I had it locked at 60 outside of the game, like, you know, that would be a way to go. Does that do anything? I mean, that's less, honestly, that is, nah, That is less. No, it is not less. The tear is just higher on screen than it was before. That's strange. On the list of fucking weird things, weird bullshit, that is on the list. Man. These are just normal missions, and so if this were a vibrant game that were still continuing to attract like new players, there would be players that would just automatically join with you in doing this because they were already doing it, or they went to that mission marker while you were still here, and they kind of automatically joined your mission. It was kind of neat at launch because, you know, it was like a very smooth co-op jump in, jump out kind of deal that worked out pretty well. But, like, you know, here we are a year later, and they built content specifically for you to go back and run these missions again, but there's no one here. Alright, we shot a bunch of more guys. Force field disabled. Facilities can... Oh, here it is. All right, we got half of it. Now we only need to kill 17 more dudes before that shield drops again. That's fun. Oh.
I'm loading.
It's like I shot that one dude, and it did like the static charge that it let off was enough to kill 5 other ones. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's like, it's kind of fun. You fucking just get out here and fuck shit up, and who cares? Sometimes you need a game where you can just kind of get out here and fuck shit up, and who cares? I'm a firm believer in that. Hey, there's another player over there. And because he shot some of my guys, he joined my mission. Again, it's kind of neat that way, you know? Like if you're just shooting a bunch of guys, a guy can run up and go, "What are you doing?" and just start shooting, and they will automatically be added to your party. And then the party automatically disbands as soon as the mission is complete. Very breezy, very breezy. Waves of shield throws. Oh. That's right, run away. Talk to the Descendant instructor. Oh, that's that robot. How do I go back there? Hold down button, talk to robot. We're gonna go talk to this robot. VSync to on, not fast. Low latency to ultra. In-game VSync to off, which I don't think I can actually tweak. And then if it's Vulcan, cap the frame rate in game. Oh. Yeah. But that all sounds annoying. No, yeah, that makes some amount of sense based on my reading on this. Don't you feel the urge to change Greg's fate with Greg's reversed fate? So I guess that was him teaching me how to craft guns. But I mean, I've already done that a bunch of times. I need more. I should check. I need more guns, right? This is, yeah. So I need more of these, so that it does its special thing more frequently. So that quest gave us all the parts we need to craft another one of those guns. So let's go talk to the lady that what crafts guns.
What do you need?
And then what weapon? Turns out I had 2 of a bunch of these, but not the blueprint, which is always the hardest one to get. And so we give them 100,000 golds and then wait 4 hours unless you want to, you know, use some of your real money currency to accelerate this research, which would be real dumb. Same deal with characters. Like you can grind to get all the resources to make characters instead of buying them. And then to upgrade and reset and, you know, re-roll your slots and all this other stuff, you need items like these, which they will happily sell you for real money in the store as well. This guy set his title as Best Spreader, which is pretty good. Pretty good. This guy set his title as Loyal Military Police, which I'd... No. Yep, that sure is this game. Well, let's try one more time here on that tearing, or just try to... I guess that's all we can set here, but I don't know why these options are locked out in game. Maybe it's because I am... Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm literally in game. Maybe there are some settings that can only be changed before you load in. That's the hottest thing you've ever seen? Yeah, she was bouncing on a Powerball back there. Powerball, Powerball, Powerball. Yeah, not hot anymore. Okay, all right. You're welcome. The bucket of cold water of video games. Nope. Weird. That's real strange. That's real strange. I want the most cinematic ray tracing you've got. I want to reconstruct those rays. You know what I'm saying? I want cinematic physics because I love art. Display is not anything. Yeah, no, that's not really going to have any relevant options for that stuff. That's weird. That's weird. I hate that this game has become this test bed over the past 3 days of fucking with this stuff. I hate that this is become the weird benchmark. I hate that I've played so much of this game recently. Because it's like, the sick thing is like, I'm like, I could go for playing some more of this. You know, play some more of this game. They got schoolgirl outfits up in the store right now. Why did I make this game the benchmark? Because we were talking about, I forget why, we were talking about just free to play. And so I loaded this up as we were talking about it, and it ran all fucked up. And so it's been like messing with that. It's been you know, kind of messing around with that stuff ever since. Okay, let's try going out into the world and seeing what happens. I guess, you know, we could go to Sigma Sector. We could go to the isolated desert. We could do it on high risk. Oh no, I can't do it on high risk. I need to be mastery rank 15. That's... I could win a spoils box. Or a blueprint for making a lady. Or another blueprint for making a lady. Or a blueprint for the catalyst, which is one of the 4 parts you need to make a lady. Well, that seems to...
Sound action to all personnel. Void storm is intensifying. Conditions are unfavorable. Proceed with caution. Over.
That seems better. Okay. Well... Well, at least we fixed that. That's cool.
Take this.
That's cool.
Large-scale
running?
Vulgus transfer confirmed. Descendant, stop
You ready
the
for this
enemy troop
large-scale
deployment.
Vulgus transfer? I sent you my large-scale Vulgus transfer. Please respond. Did not need to use that there. Real waste of resources. Jesus. Pathetic. I feel like this game is such that like I can't even be bothered to aim down the sights half the time.
Shaping charge drop complete. Begin the void energy purification operation. Descendant, prime the detonator with your RK. Then
I'm gonna prime the
activate
detonator
remote
with my
detonation
RK.
Device.
RK life signs detected inside a Vulgus structure.
Okay. I'm just like running to these icons, but I'm not even like getting there in time. So it's just like, oh, maximum level. We hit the level cap, baby. Again. Life meter to drain. I think if this game had like 6 or 7 more ideas about things you could do, and it's too late because like the main game, the story, if you will, what there is of it, is so repetitive in terms of just like mission design and structure. That if they had had just a little bit more for you to do through that whole process, this whole game would feel a lot less, I don't know,
transport support.
cheap or whatever. Okay. I'm on a 5090. So in a weird turn of events, yes, but this game is running on a 4090 because I'm running it through a capture card into my main PC. I could rewire everything and hook the capture card up to this second machine so that I'm playing on the best machine and streaming out on the other machine. But you know what? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Maybe that's a change I will make someday. I would have to move all the webcams from one machine to the other. I would probably have to change out my audio interface completely to make sure that microphone audio and such is routing to the streaming PC properly. The good news is I already have a Rodecaster Pro 2 sitting here in the box that I just haven't had time to setup. Yes, the 5090 is just for my personal... The 5090 is for when we want to stream games on this machine. You know, like Space Harrier. If we want to play, you know, we want to fire up some Mr. Do. You know, we don't need the second PC for that. Void Abyss Metal Fragments. Sure. Sure. But the audio sounds okay? Does audio sound all right? Does the audio sound appropriately leveled? Game audio not too loud? Good. Okay. Okay. Cool. So now that I've hit max level, I can go and I can do this. What do I go? Where do I go to? Where we can look at our module settings here and say which one would we want to lock next. Skill crit hit rate and damage wouldn't be the worst thing. Those are both pretty much the same thing. But this one is the most expensive thing that I have that isn't locked, so maybe we'll do that one. Time distribution, max HP, and skill cooldown. So what we'll do is we'll go to module additional settings. We'll assign a module socket type. We'll assign... Okay, what do we want to do? It's this one here. This is a bad way for them to do this. Okay, we want that one to be the... I guess the... Let's call it an M. And now we're level 1 again, and we get to do it all over again. Isn't that fucking badass? Now we get to go from level 1 to 40 all over again. And then when we hit that again, we get to lock another slot. You know what I'm saying? Where are all my slot lockers at? Out here locking up these slots. I got module capacity for days. We're going to level up something. What are we going to level up? This is currently the most expensive one, so why don't we level that up and then we'll lock it when we hit level 4. When we hit level 40 again, you know, later today. That's fine. It's hitching up a little bit here. See, it's, the cursor's like stopping. See that? What is that about? I'm unhappy about it. Oh well. This is still a good looking tunnel. It's a cool tunnel. It says I have a 1 there's a gear with a picture of a head in it. I think that is that I think that's new. I think that is that this? RK tuning applies effects on a per descendant group basis. No, we went through that last time. No, I have no... Okay, I have no points to spend here, it would appear. I don't know where I get these points. I don't know what I do to get them. That's okay. I'll live somehow. Anyway, that seems to work pretty well. I mean, the streaming stuff, like, you know, we ironed out the We ironed out some of that there tearing and such. Yeah, my 4-hour weapon. Yeah, I gotta log back in and around midnight and get my gun and feed it to my other gun so I can level up my stats, right? I mean, I have to do that. I'm gonna run to the restroom real fast, and I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna format this PC probably and start fresh. I just installed this. I saw a video of this and it looked neat. Oh, well, this is a really weird question to ask me right here, because I don't know the answer to this question. I feel like you should have me try both and then. Epic view distance. You can also sprint by holding the input key assigned to it. You could tell me that. You know, you could just say. Instead, I seem to have found a flashlight button. All right, well, maybe the rest of the tutorial will have something to say about all this. Run in a direction and push the input key below. Pressing it once does a short sidestep. I don't know that I'd call that a short sidestep. Run in a direction. Okay. So maybe by run, they just mean move. Maybe there's no, like, separate run input. Oh, you know what it is? If you click in the left stick and then hit A, that's when he does his dives. Oh no, you don't. You just hold the button down. Okay. So if I just... So a press does that, a hold does that. Got it. Okay. Okay, you don't bring a lot of ammo. You have 1 reserve mag and 7 bullets. You can get 7 perfect shots in a row, pick up ammo boxes, or executing enemies. Having no ammo while doing these actions will immediately reload. Okay. It's not a lot of bullets. Okay. Right before you would get hit, hit the counter key. And, okay, that's X. All right. So if I catch him unaware, I can stealth kill him here, it looks like. Which that's, okay, that's a little ridiculous, but okay. Kick objects. All right. Eliminate 7 enemies in a row to achieve a clean suit. That's... all right. Okay. We did this earlier. A good way to get bullets. The auto aim is very generous. The targeting is extremely sticky. Toronto. Really forcing people to pronounce it that way. Really. Beating all challenges will unlock gloves. Yeah, sure. Try to dodge good. Very silly. This like, I mean, this is the first level, right? But like walking through this hallway and just smoking everyone. See, they fuck you. They've only put 6 guys here. Oh, wait. They have bad guns. Yeah, that aiming is very... friendly. Oh. Yeah, man, you get caught out there. I mean, I guess like it's cool that like you fucking die so easily. Like if you're not careful, you know, like it would be a little ridiculous if you were super overpowered and the aim was just so automatic. That was neat. I was basically able to grab that bat out of his hand. Like basically as soon as he, like super hot style, as soon as he let go of it. Oh, hey. I was barely aiming in that guy's direction. It seemed like, and it still counted it. So, but I don't know. That doesn't seem like a bad thing per se. I don't know. It's again, since you can only get hit a couple of times before you die. I wish I could turn this flashlight off. I feel like I turned it on in the tutorial and it never shut off. Don't need it. It's a very awkward crouch walk. Like, oh, I gotta poop so bad. Like, why is this guy crouch walking? Oh God, he's shooting me. I guess the other thing I'd say is I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. Not there. I could go with a, you know, if this game were like faster, would that be cool? Like if you could just run full fucking sprint and then dive and do some shit like that. I feel like that would be neat as hell. This is already really neat, whatever. You know, but. Aha. Got careless. Try to get all fancy. Oh, that didn't work out as like maybe I had hoped it would. Would have been cool if I threw that bat and it hit him and, you know, whatever else, but. Yeah, is this door just no longer, what, can I do this? Oh, come on. I guess if I slowed down time and did that, maybe that would be the right way to do that. That said, it opened up something by the entrance. So, oh, hi. go. Another convenient button. This game feels like they put it where it counts. This game feels like that they put the time into making sure that you going around and fucking people up felt real good. Like the way that all the buttons in World look the same is, you know, budget, right? But they put more thought into like, hey, let's have this feel good and make sense. But honestly, what the fuck does this game even look like as a top-down game? Oh, weird. Okay, so... so my right stick goes like this. I can still do this. Neat. They should be better about telling you what the hell... I don't know, actually. This camera is super fucking weird. Though. So that I bet they made this first, right? Because the choices they made on aiming and stuff make a lot more sense in the context of this kind of weirder view. But I think I prefer the third person. Oh, that's not. That's a good moment. You know, you're in your little chamber, and then the music picks up as soon as it opens up. That's good shit. It's a little harder to keep track of stuff from this angle, I'd say, also. It's harder to play carefully like this. I feel like I just want to fucking mow people down. Like I just want to keep pulling the trigger. And you have to focus on your right stick a lot more because you need to aim. You need to aim your melee. Which I don't know. This works well enough. It's just a little. Some of the camera stuff feels a little clunkier, you know, since you don't really have any control over it. I heard that guy get stabbed. Oh. Grenades, huh? Okay, sure. Makes sense. What? Alright. Ladder just led up here. The movement speed maybe makes slightly more sense from this camera angle also. The aiming makes more sense too, because you can see when it finally does lock onto a target. Yeah. I bet they had to have made this mode first before someone said, you know what, it turns out people just like Max Payne. What if we gave them that? What if we did that? And whoever said that is right. But this is still cool. I don't know. Can I change? Did I lock it up by trying to change camera perspectives mid-mission? I may have. All right. Anyway. Video games. That's Suit for Hire. It's fucking neat. You know? How much do they want for this thing? $9 right now. Steam Deck verified. Right on. Get some banana in. Oh. I could install all kinds of games on this computer, man. All right. Turn that TV off, as they say. Yeah, that game's cool. I think the movement speed could be a little faster. He feels like he's very carefully walking forward, and then, you know, a little more reckless abandon might be neat. Was that my Steam Deck? No, that was a full-on Windows PC. That's just a Windows machine running Steam Big Picture, which was the basis for all the Steam OS and Steam Deck stuff, which is cool. Steam Big Picture, I feel like, used to really be ugly as hell and no good. But now they've converged all this stuff in so many ways. It's really neat that they've done all that work. I think it's really paying off for them. I think it's opened up so many interesting avenues for just like ways you can play PC games just by having a good interface like that, and having an OS that just boots to that interface is a really neat idea. I think, if I had any AMD GPUs, I would probably put SteamOS on a proper computer just for the fuck of it, or Bazite or something. I don't know. But I don't. So also, I play Call of Duty, and don't necessarily play a ton of it, but I want to be able to play it when I want to be able to play it. And SteamOS just can't do that. So, so it's not a good, like, there are a lot of people that try to say like, oh, I'm giving up on Windows because I need, like, fucking fuck it. And like, okay, there are like kind of a lot of games that don't, I mean, not a lot, but like the ones that don't run are like relatively big games, and there will be more in the future. There will be games that come out that you're like, oh shit, I can't play it because it's got anti-cheat and won't run under Linux, and and it just so happens that some of those games are some of the most popular games in the world. So that's kind of a thing that they should tackle. If they can. I don't know. That's the hard part, is that they don't, the developers don't want it tackled because of the attack surface of Linux and blah, 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 and all the other stuff, all the other reasons they've thrown out as to why they won't support it, for, stuff like Destiny and I don't think Call of Duty is going to bend over. I don't think Microsoft Windows Call of Duty is going to spend a ton of time building in good Linux support, but we'll see. It'd be neat. It'd be neat if that was gone. If that hurdle was just gone and SteamOS was, just feature parity with Windows. But but yeah, like a lot of people act like it's not a big deal, and I think it's nothing wrong with that, but it's people usually who just don't play those games and are just like, why would you run Windows? Fuck Windows. You don't need it. And you're like, okay, yeah, like a lot of games don't. There are some big games that don't run on Linux, like, and stop pretending that that's not a thing. Stop pretending that they are not extremely popular video games. When you say like, oh, no one needs Windows anymore. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're out of your mind. You sound like a lunatic when you say that shit. And I love SteamOS. I think it's fucking incredible. But like, let's not be ridiculous about it. Let's can you get Xbox Game Pass working on Linux? So, I mean, I have the cloud streaming stuff set up. But I don't think, because the Xbox app is so tied into so many Windows-based Xbox services that you probably, I don't believe there's any way around that. I don't think you can like Lutris your way through that shit. Do I play MTG? No, I think she's terrible. I don't want anything to do with this, fucking out of her mind. But yeah, I don't know. Like I would love for there to be a day when, when SteamOS does have that just full on parity. And also I would really love to see Windows get to a point where it is competitive in that space as well. Ars Technica did their similar, they're not the first to do it, but they did their kind of comparison between Windows 11 and SteamOS and found that SteamOS performed better. So that's awesome. That's cool. I would love to see Microsoft catch up. I would love to see Windows catch up with that. I would love to see everything performing better, because that only helps everyone on every piece of hardware, right? I mean, if they're doing that work properly, further optimizing Windows 11 to be better at playing games, that helps. That helps people that want to play games wherever they want to play them. So hopefully they would do some of that stuff. You can play some Game Pass games through on SteamOS. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't checked it on that in a while. Like I when I first got my Steam Deck, I went crazy installing everything. Like I had Lutris and I was running the Epic Games Store through that so that I could run Rumbleverse until they broke their anti-cheat stuff that made it stop working. and then Rumbleverse shut down, you know. But yeah, I went crazy installing all the different launchers and launchers of launchers, and you know, I had the BattleNet client installed on there because that was the only place where Diablo 4 was for a while. Before that made its way to Steam. And so I was playing Diablo 4 through the BattleNet client there, and that was very funky, but like you could do it, and it was awesome that you could do it. It was so great that you could just fucking do that shit. Yeah, but I formatted, I've formatted that Steam Deck a handful of times since then, just like up, got out of my depth, fucked up some shit, need to reformat this thing and start over. I reached the limits of my Linux experience and broke this thing. All right, format it. Why did Microsoft collaborate with Meta for a Quest headset? Why not? They've you know, they have said, you know, the Quest stuff has been able to run Game Pass games for a long time. Like, that's not a new thing. So they just put together one that is in a different color. Threw in a lot of the articles, like, are, you know, or some of the articles I saw seem to not understand what the offering is clearly. Because they're saying things like, and it's $100 more. What the fuck's up with that? And it's because it comes with the Elite strap, which I think it has a bigger battery in it or something. And so it is not just a strap. It is something that they sell for that $100 or whatever. So it is a bundle of items. But it is not necessarily just $100 more for the exact same thing. I don't think that justifies it one way or the other. I think the idea of buying a VR headset because you're like, oh, sick, I can play Xbox Cloud stream games on this. And they're not VR games. They're not even 3D, you know, or anything like that. That doesn't sound interesting at all. And also the 3S is not their top of the line headset. The 3 is the top of the line headset. The 3S has existed before, so this is just a 3S, but it's black. And the 3S is like, it's the same hardware as the 3, but it's the optics, like the lenses from the Quest 2, I think is where they cut the corner. And so like the optics are not nearly as good. Like the Quest 3, the clarity, the resolution, like all that stuff is really, compared to, you know, I didn't have a Quest 2, but I did have a Quest 2. Hell, I don't remember. But compared to the previous Quests, it was a meaningful step up in just overall quality. Yeah, like Fresnel lenses or pancake lenses, or yeah, like whatever the changes were in the optics. Like the Quest 3 is nice. It's a well-made one of those, you know, if you want that. And so I can't, like, for that amount of money stepping down to like the Quest 2 optics, like I don't think that's worth it. I think if you want a VR headset, buy a VR headset. If you want something to play Xbox games on, don't buy a VR headset. And I wonder if there will be any people tricked into buying it who think like, oh, sick, Xbox has VR now. No one will think that because no one says, oh, sick, when VR comes up. So maybe it's not an issue, but I think it is kind of a strange, it's strange in that very specific way, but like, whatever. I don't know. Like, again, you know, they made a big deal about the Game Pass or the cloud streaming app existing on the Quest store a long time ago when that first rolled out. So this is just, hey, let's sell a device and you know, brand it or whatever. And it comes with an Xbox controller because you're going to need one of those, because I don't think you can just use the hand controller. It doesn't have enough buttons on it. You wouldn't be able to use the hand controllers to do it. So, you know, you just laying there in bed playing Xbox games, which I guess I assume the 3S can do that. There's a toggle I haven't tried it because I don't. It wasn't something I was gonna do. But there's a toggle in the Quest like settings for like I want to lay down, and you can turn that on, and it's like it's kind of funky from the way they described it, but it sounds like it's like, oh, you can lay down, and it still thinks you're looking forward even though you're looking up. You know, they make that modification, which I assume is for porn. I assume that's something that porn people want. I don't actually know, but my as soon as I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is something they threw into the firmware for people who want to watch porn videos, VR formatted porno videos, which I have to tell you, I've not watched any of those in a very long time, but they are very funny. Most of the, like the most of the ones I saw, which I watched like 4 or 5 of them, and they're just fucking weird because the proportions of like, because it's, you know, it's meant to be first person, so it's like you see a dude's body laying there, and then girls doing stuff to it, but the proportions of dude's body are like stretched out in kind of a weird way, and if you look around, if you turn around your head too far, you just see you see the edge of the world, and it's fucking hilarious. Because it just looks bad. I don't know. It's I don't know. Whatever. Maybe some people are super into it. I'm sure. Well, whatever. Maybe. Yeah. Some people I'm sure are super into it. But it just cracked me up, man. Like just looking. It was like the This won't make any sense to most people. You know, in Mr. Show, when there was the guy who his body got dipped into acid, and then they wrote the song about him, Adam's song, and then Blink-182. Anyway, his weird like cigar body, the weird proportions on. I mean, it was very tiny, so which it does, but it was like a giant version of that in some weird way. It was like the body, the arms and legs looked super skinny and weird. The torso looked. It was just weird. Maybe that's better now. Maybe that's way better now because maybe they're just better and smarter at producing that content. And so maybe it's not as crazy and fucked up as it used to be. But when was that? I think that was when the Quest 1 first came out that I looked at that stuff. And then there's a bunch of VR porn on Steam and stuff too. But like, I don't know. That stuff's, you know, whatever. Yes, Titanica. I have my Titanica shirt around here somewhere. I should really dig that out. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. It's yeah, the VR porn roundup. People are always asking me to do more VR stuff, and it's time to give the people what they want with this VR porn check-in. No, I'm not going to go out and acquire a bunch of modern VR porn to see if it's any better now. But if you have any, send it. No. Tomorrow morning I'll be back to rank some 8-bit Nintendo games, and we'll check those out. If you're on the advisory panel, now would be a good time to submit some games, because I'm going to build this list in the morning, and then we'll check out some games. My watch just told me it's 10 o'clock, which means my watch makes a bunch of bumpy motions on my wrist to say, "Dog, it's bedtime." I'm like, all right, fine. I'll be back in in 12 hours. I'll see you in 12 hours. We'll play some older video games. I was going to say we'll play some good games, but that's just not how it's been going lately. So, I'll see you then.